may I take the opportunity of asking our friend in Mauritius, Dr. Ish, you mentioned, Dr. Ish, about prevention and predictive as opposed to reactive. Are your health authorities in Mauritius actually involved in providing funding for true frontline prevention?
Yeah, I believe they can provide funding. There is my terms of reference, because it's a government to government posting. The government of India sent me to the government of Mauritius. We have got a mechanism where we draft a nice project that can be funded by my university and by the Ministry of Health, Government of Mauritius. So we surely can look forward to that if you have got some proposal.
Fantastic. Good. Okay.
And I would like to add one thing to one more thing regarding the circadian cycle, as Dr. Madanji last time in one seminar, 2 months back, did inform that more than 400 messenger RNAs undergo a circadian memory, every annual circadian memory. So, and we pay no attention towards it. Ayurveda has told in the summer times you should sleep during the day, you should have a siesta during the summer months. But we are so kind of complacent, we do not change anything. 12 months, no change in food pattern, no change in any timing, no summer, no winter. We do not pay any attention to anything. We leave home at 8 o'clock. 12 months we are leaving home at 8 o'clock, So the seasons don't matter to us. That is where it is not a great trade-off. It is a bad deal, which we have to pay off sometime late in our life. So we have to be really more flexible with the seasons.
Ish, thank you very much, Professor Madan. If you could just hold on. We only have about half an hour before we go back to the United States of America. I'm very keen that we discuss the integrated health of Tai Chi, Qi Gong, and the 22nd Congress that we are actually putting up in September, where two of the Healing Our Earth lead teams are there, which is Dr. Wai-Ching, who is here, and Sharon, who will be coming at 6:30. Where Professor Madan and Dr. Rajiv are part of it, as is Kit Sharp. And each we can actually develop the idea from government to government secondment. I will look you in with the team. Kit is now part of Healing team as well, where they exchange ideas and things. So Wai-Ching, welcome. You can unmute yourself. Madan, let's lead on to what is happening in September, where you and Rajiv are part of the Healing, which is part of that Congress, and the two leads, which Dr. Wai-Ching and Sharon are, together with Kate. Let's discuss more about it, and we can tell the viewers who are watching on the YouTube, Periscope, Facebook website to know more about it. Over to you. Thank you.
Welcome, Wai-Ching. It's really, really good to have that World Congress that you organized. It looks amazingly good. And I think it will be fantastic to really involve all the people as many as we can, and as we know, a natural way of improving the body. The benefits are proven, and we have actually talked, Keith and I have been talking for a long time about the benefits and the history and then integration. So I think it will be fantastic opportunity. It's a World Congress. I think we all should really put our energy together. So tell us more about it, Wai-Ching, and why we should involve the whole world together, bring into it. You have been into it. You are an inspiration. You are ever active. Maybe you get from there.
Thank you, Dr. Rajiv. I'm so looking forward to having all of us on the panel to discuss how we can really bring the correspondences, in both metaphysical and physical in Ayurveda and the traditional Chinese medicine. There has been such a beautiful, long history of interaction between India and China along the Silk Route. And we have learned so much from each other, especially in this university that's called Nalanda University that has been along the way. And it was apparently 3 or 7 stories high, and where there was all these scientists and mathematicians and herbalists who came together in that university, and it was gone. And so let us bring it all back, weave it all together. And this is so exciting to have you and Professor Madan on the platform of the World Congress of Qi Gong, Tai Chi, and TCM and Natural Healing. And now we have Keith Sharp also on board on the panel. We'll also have Dr. Sandra Rose Michael, who has developed a technology that can actually attenuate radiation with 2.2 miles. And she has other technologies, which I'm wearing actually, this and that, which is beautiful EMF smog devices, protection devices. There's some that I work with scientists and doctors, as you know, with these devices. So the idea of, a lot of people don't sleep very well, as I mentioned, because of sleeping with their phones, right? Falling asleep in front of the television with the lights on, and that upsets the sleep cycle. And of course, we know how important that is. And being a past flight attendant, I know how I had to adjust, and I used meditation. I was initiated into transcendental meditation at age 18. So that helped me through the 5 years of flying career. So I know how important that is, and that led me on to my evolution. So we can weave all this in on that day, and that we are going to be on the panel. So there'll be 4 days, excuse me, we've extended it, and we invite everyone. It's available, it's free, and we will carry on from there with workshops as well. So do you have any idea how you want to present on that day? Do you have a feeling of what we want to talk about, or how to deepen the relationship between Ayurveda and TCM?
Wai-Ching, if I may just add to this, when we look at, the context, let me just start off by sharing my screen. Just one image that is connected to Qi and Qi Gong and all those benefits that we have. And the image here is something that is found in many, many places. But I put this up just to get 1 or 2 points across. And this is that image, see? And we have the yin and the yang and down the middle. And I can see Keith is smiling because he knows the importance of all these things. There is a parallel with this. So days, time of the day, and how the different organs are active. Okay, so this is comparable to the best of physiology that is available today. So there is an understanding. Don't ask me how and where this understanding comes from, but you can go into a book like this. Now, this book is over 2,500, 3,000 years old. Okay. And this book has this knowledge already. Now, I don't know how they've discovered this, but parallels are found in the Indian systems in Ayurveda. And when we bring, for me, the thing is, when we bring these two systems, the understanding of that simplified yin-yang aspect, just two forces that increase and decrease during the day, the yang qi and the yin qi, and how that balance. So that is seen here, and how it's played out in different organs. What we know today from the best of molecular biology is every organ has its own clock. And qi, you might say, is that cohesive force that brings all these, the synchrony in the system. And that is what the qi masters say, that you can do a simple exercise that will enable that synchrony. And I think the time has arrived for us to talk with the best physiologists, to show that there is something beyond those the understanding today. And when we bring these two systems together, the Chinese understanding and Indian understanding, you will see how we can refine contemporary physiology and how we can add great value to medical education and for patient care. And the other thing is health literacy. I don't think we are taught anything about health literacy. Nobody teaches us how to be healthy. They just take it for granted you're healthy. And this is another big area that we might want to bring into our discussions, health literacy, how simple exercises, the concept of Qi, the concept of prana, and how they come together to give us a better understanding. The understanding with the circadian clocks, the season clocks of the seasons, etc. There is a lot of biology hidden there and how it affects the immune system and why we are more susceptible to colds as we approach the winters and how we feel much better when the days are brighter and longer. There's a lot of physiology to be understood.
Madan, there's a question.
Professor Madan, always impressive, in your resources and research and integration. Thank you so much. As an energy healer, as a Qi Gong therapeutic or medical intuitive, may I add that how these people knew was because they developed ability to sense the energy. For example, the meridians. How were they able to map the network of the light letters of the body and know exactly where the portals of energies are from here to here to here, or the K27 or the C17? How were they able to do that? It is through inner sight. It is through the ability to see and visualize the energy body of the people. And so that developed that system, as well as the correspondences with the organ systems with different times, because they would wake up at different times to go out into the field to pluck certain herbs and flowers and make into flower pills. And they would then make decoctions from these herbs. And sometimes I think it was to their detriment, but it was part of the whole Shen-Nong experience of experimentation, just like what we are going through. We are all experiments, really, in our physicality.
Wai-Ching, I can see a raised hand here. Lata has raised her hand. Maybe could we bring Lata into our discussion?
Certainly.
Lata ji, namaskar.
Lata, you can,
Thank you. Hi.
you can unmute yourself.
Yes. Hi. My question is also relating to emotional side of things and how it connects with our inner organs and the healing processes and the dis-ease processes. How large a role is that? Because from what my understanding is from listening to all of you, is quite important aspect and connection there.
Well, I studied psychosomatic movement and studies. And so there are, it's definitely very, very important in our emotions and our production of hormones and our endocrine glands and how that affects our physicality. And also energetically, we go back to the organ systems, that there are also, in terms of TCM, there have been correspondences about emotions, for example, the liver and anger. So when I was going through my training, someone did a massage on my liver. It was specifically a liver massage. And I had a wave of anger and I didn't know where it came from. So it has to be like experiential, right? And I feel that these kind of mind, body, soul, psychosomatic experiences are basically experiential. And so just like energy medicine or past lives or, quantum medicine, it's experiential. And so it may not be the same for everybody because we are all different matrices of energies, but there are some similarities. We are one anatomy if you want to look at it. So there are certain, we are a container of emotions. And then how it's embedded in our cellular memory depends on our conditioning as a child or even karmic conditioning and causal conditioning. So we have to look deeper into this. And this brings us to personalized medicine or healing. It has to be personalized. We cannot just put everything into a cauldron.
No, I'm understanding that a little bit clearer today, since because we talk about taking herbs and vitamins and amino acids and whatever else. We hear of something else new every day. Oh yes, I must bring this into my circle, but it's actually the emotional side of feeling the disappointments and the neglect or whatever that we can't even synchronize with ourselves, but our organs have held on to it.
Right. Breath work is very key in this. The breath work, like a holographic breath work, Stanislaus Grof, it goes beyond the mind. And in one session, you can overcome all that, even physical conditions in one session. If we can connect to the causal plane, if we can connect to the quantum field, and one session that emotions that are locked up in the cells can be cleared. It's if we can go beyond that. If you want to try that,
We got like a few minutes.
Letta,
to hear
I've just put two. If you can
happens, and we would have loved to have the practical example of thing, but we got limitation. Let's hear. Keith wanted to say something.
I just wanted to pop back to the lady that I now respect from the other parts of the world that I didn't know she attended for many months at a time. So I appreciate the support I get from Amalia, but I'm afraid that being that practical guy is that I think you've summed it up with a word. I would go as far as say, I think that the traditionalists back when the Chinese and the Indian people before, let's say 5,000 years ago, how did they treat medicines? Traditional medicines are now being scrutinized as never before, and hopefully we get scientific proof. But I have this image in my mind of mother treating her siblings and her family by sharpening the points of a feather and sticking them in various places of the body to see what sort of reaction they got. I cannot imagine how many thousands of lives were saved or destroyed in those experiments. And I cannot imagine, all right, it wasn't until the mid-1990s that I became interested in anything to do with Asian culture. And I now find myself really contemplating in this decade the changes that people like yourselves and some others can actually have on the world. And to say that I'm astounded, I'm very, very honored to be in this level of discussion and to have Sharon and Amalia suggesting and in arranging an invitation for me to attend the global summit is mind-boggling. I can't even share this with my wife because I don't know how to express it. So I have a request. All right, is that the day that the 22nd Congress is happening, and I believe I'm asked to be available, is in the middle of 2 weeks of holiday in Mallorca for my wife and I. I want you all to send a please allow Keith to attend. Because after 53 years of marriage, I will be asked, why have you picked this date? I don't pick
Oh,
them.
Keith, I think you have misunderstood something. If I may clarify for
Please
you,
do.
this will be pre-recorded.
Sorry?
So
Yep.
this will be pre-recorded. So you can have a great holiday in Mallorca with your wife without disruption, and don't create any waves in your marriage.
We will try either
So
way.
we will do that. And if you can come on live, then we will. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Right. You're welcome. Problem solved. Easy
You
solution.
record in August and see in September, right? Why? He records in August and see it in September.
Yes, that's right. Recorded in July, August. That's right. We'll have to set a date, by the way, everyone. So please send me your details. Make it easy for me. Send me your details. Thank you very much, and then we'll fix a date.
Okay.
Wai-Ching, if I may ask a question, you said about people visualizing the flow of energy. Keith, this is also related to your question about how they came to this knowledge, and Wai-Ching was right in saying about the meridians and how they map different points, etc. Now, in a casual conversation with somebody from Austria who said they were spending a lot of time in China and going to the traditional Chinese medicine schools, and out of this conversation came one Chinese word. It's called tonk. And a tonk is a person who can see the flow of energy. Mm-hmm. And they're there. The tonks are still there. I don't know how I find them, where I'd have to go to.
Here I am.
There's a tonk.
Mr. Professor Madan. That's how I created InfinityQuantumQi Gong, because I saw all that in 1990. It was shocking. It was illuminating. It was amazing. And I had my, what you call a Kundalini experience, and was able to do healing work. I mean, you just have to look at the testimonials on my website, humbly. And I saw the spinning yin-yang, and not just the yin-yang, not the static one, which I always see the static one, but it's not static. It's black and white, and then it's white and black, one within, but within each, they were spinning. And in my meditation, which thank you, TM as well. And there's been such a beautiful yogic and TCM integration in my life. I'm totally that. And also backpacking through India when I was 24 for a month, really going to the temples and the energy vortices and remembering myself as Indian. So anyway, back to this was that the yin-yang symbols in my inner vision was not static. It was whirling both centrifugally inside and outside, and it was going in different directions. And it actually showed up as like infinity. So it was just very dynamic, and I entered into it. And when I entered into the polarities of the yin-yang, which is what we're doing in balancing the yin-yang, I came to the center point, which is the conception and central vessel. And I came into my own body, the energy field, straight down the line. And yin-yang was all around me. And I was within the yin-yang. I became the yin-yang. And the yin-yang was the duality. And from the yin-yang, I went up to the Tai Chi, which was, Tai Chi is the great Qi, the supreme Qi. And so that means I was returning back to my origin, my genesis. And then from there into Wu Qi. And Wu Qi is the illimitable, the void, the quantum, where there was utter silence. There was the potential and there was nothingness. And so I knew it from my own body and my cellular knowingness and my transformation, the quantum field. And that's how transformation occurred in myself. And I knew it. And that's why they actually, I heard the voice telling me InfinityQuantumQi. And I said, quantum, I'm not a scientist, but they said, now you will understand why it is that. So that's how I was guided. So here I am. InfinityQuantumQi Gong.
I'm going to hold up.
We can talk about that.
Keith, I'm going to hold up this. If it's, I hope you can see this. It says the horizons of cognition, and that's what limits us today. You know, we have our senses, and that's all we can perceive. That's all we live with. But what Wai-Ching is saying is something that goes beyond those horizons. And somewhere there is something there beyond what we can. If we limit ourselves to our senses, then there is that much. But there's much more beyond what our.
I take these points, if I may, is just to say that I have, in the last few years, because I have a marketing business background, with Tai Chi and Qi Gong, we know that Tai Chi is very well known. I had a visit to a consultant last week about my second knee replacement. And this is a leading South of England consultant. My wife has had two knees done, and we're absolutely delighted with them. But I said to him, have you heard of Tai Chi? Oh, yes, he said. I said, well, I do a little bit, but have you heard of Qi Gong? No, not at all. From my perspective as an individual, somehow I've actually moved into the realm of knowledge that I have, which is always asking the question, what is it and what are the needs of the community? And this is always trumping everything I do, because there are 1,000 people in the Tai Chi Union who I represent, and probably 800 or 900 of them don't even know me, because some of it has to be very sensitive as to what we're trying to do. The reaction that I get from what I call authentic people is, sometimes we've tried this before. Well, okay, you've tried it before. What has been the difference? Well, the difference is, one is social media and the immediacy of social media to share information. But the second one, seems to me, is who is prepared to drive it? And I spoke with one of my colleagues who was on a previous session with us, a man I greatly admire of Qi Gong and acupuncture. So for anybody to answer, how did it start all those thousands of years ago, he would probably be the person I'd first go to. But I said, why am I dealing with all these people worldwide because of my 50 years of traveling around the world? Why am I, as an individual, pushing ahead with complementary therapies when no money is being spent on it from the governments? And he used one word, and he said, Keith, you have been assigned. Now, I tread with caution now. I tread with caution. For many years, I was a Freemason. I gave up Freemasonry to focus on Tai Chi and Qi Gong for the community. I could do more with it. But we all have our people above us, and I feel that we have the person within Freemasonry is the great architect of the universe. And when Amalia All right, when Amalia is talking about the yin yang, it's obviously a globe. It's a sphere. It's not a two-dimensional object that we all see. It has a 24-hour cycle. And I am not in a position to go into detail, but the Tai Chi Union, the Tai Chi Union and Qi Gong Union have agreed in the last 5 years to become the Tai Chi and Qi Gong Union. And we are setting grades now for health and well-being instructors so that we can go to the authoritative powers and say, we have the scientific evidence, we have the experience, we have the certifications that are proven with hours and hours of practice and with good curriculums. And my role, I continually to see, is the same as I watched on a South African safari, was that of a dung beetle. A dung beetle.
Oh, you're mute. Can't hear you. Anyway, good timing.
Well, I'm delighted to have Sharon Rose here because, you know, it's when we came together, Sharon was saying that I was the only one she found when she was interviewing people who had quantum together with Qi Gong. And together we create Quantum Qi. So we're really excited about this and to promote this even more. And we both see things, you know, in the same way. So here's Sharon.
So welcome, Sharon. Sharon, from our other part of the Atlantic Ocean, is creating a big energy, as Wai-Ching was saying. She is part of healing our earth and have been consistently, I've seen her on every single occasion. It is hats off, such a big energy she has. And I think it'll be grateful to really appreciate the work she's doing. She is a winner of Filmmaker Year of the Award, 20th World Congress of Qi Gong, Tai Chi, TCM. She spent a lot of time in India to learn it, just like Wai-Ching. And this has really created a change in her life. And I could appreciate when she talks, it is coming from her heart. Obviously, in other life, she's director and producer of the documentary series Quantum Qi, which I've seen glimpses of. And I would recommend everybody to see that. The Taoist art of nurturing life. It's like a real life film, and actually it inspires. She has lectured, performed, presented in films of various universities, spiritual and cultural organizations and museums. And I think she is one of beacon of light for us to help us. And I think it'll be good to hear from her how she thinks about it. And we got some more speakers lined up before we end today about how she feels we should take it forward, how we can amalgamate and fix everything together into integrated health, bringing everything together, moving forward for the benefit of humankind. Thank you very much, Wai-Ching.
Global namaste to all of you. It's such a delight to be with you again, really. And, you know, when you were talking, all of, for most of my life, I felt that we're so much more than we've been led to believe. We're way more than this physical body, even though this is a precious human body. And as a filmmaker, I have been since a long time, exploring the luminous energy field from many different dimensions and aspects and cultures. So later today, I'm going to show the trailer from one called Healing the Luminous Body that we did about like 2003. And that has wonderful paintings by the visionary artist Alex Gray, who has really opened our eyes to the beauty of the energy field and the luminous body. But before that, I am delighted.
Sharon, thank you very much. Once again, you are the USA Coordinator for Healing Our Earth and a senior host too. Just before we bring the magnetic I'm Alive from USA, let's say a big thank you to Kit Sharp from the Tai Chi and Qi Gong Union in United Kingdom. He is a very senior person there. He makes lots of decisions. Dr. Rajiv Gupta, the health producer at Healing Our Earth, and Professor Madan Thangavelu, who brings so many researches that is helping each one of us, our facilitators here. They are still here with you as a panel and will be taking part together with Wai-Ching, who is again a senior part of Healing Our Earth, and the conversation will go back into again the Congress. So Sharon, take over and welcome I'm Alive, please.
So
thank you.
Amale Love, one of my loves. She's here from speaking to us all the way from Costa Rica. And we're going to talk about healing with the magic of your inner temple. Amale is founder of the Inner Temple Method, spirituality and energy teacher and guide. See, this is what we've been talking about. She creates sacred spaces for a full embodiment experience and expression of your essence. Sounds delightful. Amale also lives and teaches in Costa Rica and the US, Crestone, that's where we met. She is a certified coach by the ICF, NLP, and timeline therapy instructor, heart math trainer, yoga teacher, Psych-K facilitator, meditation instructor, angelic Reiki master, Akashic Records trainer, a channeler, and past life regression facilitator. She has worked in the corporate world for 20 years. That's hard to believe. You look like so young. Must have started at 5, leading regional teams. Download your free 5 days of self-love from her website today. And if you want to accelerate your self-healing and self-mastery, join her advanced programs, www.amalelove. Yes, amale.love. That sounds nice. So, global namaste to you, my dear friend. How's life down in Costa Rica?
Well, today it's very hot. Thank you so much for creating this space to you, Sharon, and also to everybody from Healing on Earth, our Earth. So I'm very excited to be here. Very, very excited. It's super hot. I don't know like how many degrees we are here, but it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful being and living here in the tropics.
Yes, I actually, all of the people out here, many of them know that I have this garden, you know, too, and the greenhouse. Well, it's so moist and hot these days in the greenhouse, and I'm going to Costa Rica when I go to water the plants. So tell us about the inner temple.
Of course. Well, the inner temple is something that everybody has access, and it's so right under our nose, I will say. And it's pretty much what I consider the inner temple. I consider this vessel that we are using in this reality, in this experience that we are here on Earth. And I believe, this is my belief, Sharon, that when we are able to connect and to turn our side within, we are able to access like the more majestic and advanced wisdom and healing that we can experience. I believe that there is a power within each of us that when we enter into the space within, we are able to access to this quietness and this silence within, and from there, I think we are able to heal every part of ourselves that we think is broken. And also we are able, of course, to access that frequency, that vibrational frequency that we are here to embody, and we are here to anchor, and we are here from that anchoring to irradiate like a light, like a lighthouse around everything that surrounds us. And that will invite many other ones to dare to see within and to access their own highest vibrational frequency. That's what I believe is the power of the inner temple.
When you know, today there's so much chaos and confusion going on in the world. When people come to you, how do you help them get through those times, get through these emotional turmoils that we are experiencing these days?
As always, I will start with a deep breath. There is nothing that I believe can compete with a deep breath. And yes, from there, and we know scientifically also how breathing can help us to balance our nervous system, how to balance our parasympathetic and sympathetic branches. So there is a power when we breathe, and when we breathe, bringing our attention to our heart. Because I think like we are returning to the heart center humanity, like we are all going to the heart in some sort of way. And the heart has this frequency. So that's the first thing. Whenever someone comes to me, it's just, let's breathe. It's like what you say when you have a child and the child is running and the child falls down and then they start crying and they try to tell you, oh, it happened to me, and they are not able to talk or speak. And you say, just calm down and breathe. So I say the same thing when they come and they say, okay, let's breathe together. And that, it's amazing, the power of breath, because it just calms your mind and all the noise and everything that is just there. And from that space, they say like, okay, I can see now, I can speak what's going on with me. And sometimes they are able to access just with that act. They are able to access to really what is it that is going through them. And it's not a symptom. It's not like what they thought is happening. It's not that painful thing that is just running in their heads. It's something more deeper within that is being revealed. And from there, they are able to access. So I believe when we open that frequency of the inner temple, we open a vibrational field. And from that intention is kind of, we enter into this space of vortex. So when people come, that's the first step that I always take, is just breathe and bring your mind to the heart, and let's start breathing from the heart. And everything starts unfolding from there. We are being guided from there. Because I believe there is like, and this is something very important, I believe like everybody holds this amazing intelligence within, like beyond the mind. Yes, the body has intelligence that if we are able to listen and create that space, we allow the other one to bring that wisdom. So that's why I say that one of the gifts, and I believe everybody has it, but one of the gifts that I have is like to create that sacred space, or we call it sometimes isumatak, like creating that sacred space so the wisdom of the other person comes in, because it's the other person that is doing the work. I'm just creating and setting a space for the person to calm down and to be able and to have that courage and that compassion to see what is happening within themselves.
Beautiful. It reminds me of, in the Dzogchen Tibetan tradition, we use a symbol of the mirror, that
Yes.
one should be like the mirror.
Yes.
And just be still and clear and pure and allow and just reflect back to the person we're working with, so that they can clearly get a perspective on themselves.
Yes, yes, totally. Because I think like when we are able to access to that quietness within is when we allow that mirror to happen. And the person is being able to see what's going on in a very deep and a very, I would say, effective way. And it's fast. I think like we believe for so long that healing is going to be difficult, it's going to take time. And in my case, my belief, I would say, or one of my perspective or viewpoints, more than a belief, is that it doesn't need to be like that way, right? It's it depends. If you want to believe that, then of course, but we can make things as complex as we want and as simple as we want. I choose simplicity, and for me, choosing simplicity has been very difficult because I study system engineering. That's the profession I study. So it's like the systems, and sometimes you make it complex, you make it simpler, but there is some complexity that in the ambience that I grew up, in the environment that I grew up, that I needed to release and kind of understand that it doesn't need to be in that way. So starting and understanding that there is simplicity and that there could be quietness, then we can be mirrors.
Yes, yes. And all of us can be mirrors for each other. The most beautiful experience I have is really learning how to listen. And we did a lot of mirroring also as a dancer, even as a modern dancer many years ago. We did a lot of mirroring movement and mirroring expression. And it really was a great learning experience for everyone to have a partner, and they would kind of, mirror you. So I know you have an experience you want to talk about, to share with us.
Well, before entering into that, I would like, and this is something that I shared a lot, is kind of when I share about my inner temple, I share about my own experiences, and I share the wisdom that and the gift that every experience we go through life brings to us. And what I've been realizing through my own journey, yes, I study a lot of things. Like when I started, I had so many questions, and I was so thirsty, and I was those spiritual seekers that you were. I was looking for things, but because I felt some emptiness within myself. So I was trying to understand what was going on. And I tried different things. And I also am a very curious person, and I love the biotechnology that we all are. So I tried to study, but there was a moment when I received, and I was able to enter in more depth within myself, and I was able to receive this and say, stop looking outside, no more books. So I kind of stopped reading books. It was like no more books, and it was more an invitation to look to the book within myself. It was an invitation to start kind of, okay, observe yourself instead of keeping yourself busy, instead of going and reading and meeting friends and just watching movies and just fill your day with other things. Just look within. So that's when I started dedicating more time to this kind of inner looking or meditation. But when you look within, and one of the practices that I love a lot, and I recommend to everybody that feels the call, is the Vipassana practice. That helped me so much to quiet my mind and to go within myself. So I was able to go and understand like every gift that, every challenge that I face, or this is that I went through my life brought to me, every information that they were bringing. So I realized that many of the things also that sometimes I was having a question about a specific topic, and I was pointed out to go and to read a book. And I was just, one chapter was holding that information, and I was, wow, this person also was looking within, and it was accessing their own wisdom. That's my dog, sorry. It's just fighting with a neighbor dog. So what I want to say here is that there is this amazing book that we hold within ourselves, and that's the inner temple. And when we start entering into that frequency of our inner temples, something cracks up within ourselves, and we are start able to access, but we need to cultivate and create that space within. And I've been able to have regressions to past life, just meditating, and to see and observe so many things that has been like unfold in front of my eyes, just with that inner observation. So we all have that capacity and that ability to access to that wisdom if we decide to start having and dedicating some time. And that's what I would like to share today. This is something I share also in the book that I'm going to launch. I'm sharing kind of my vulnerabilities and my strengths of what I realized from things that were happening at my life in certain moments. But today I want to share like a few and a small experience, maybe 5 minutes, on how you can practice and we can just access to that guidance within ourselves.
Fantastic. Yes, we love to have these kinds of experiences. It's like, how do we, we hear a lot about opening yourself up. And I know you, I know from here, like beings are attracted to you. I mean, you've showed us all kinds of orbs and wow, very interesting phenomenon that is always attracted to you, that you managed to even take photographs of, which is pretty extraordinary. So it's always that question, how do we do it? I mean, meditation, which is the subject, is a way, but tell us more.
Yes, and it is very simple. So if you are up to, I can just do a very small guidance of 5 minutes. So let's start with the breathing. And I would say, if that's okay, let's breathe together. Bringing our attention through our heart and just bringing every part of ourselves right here, right now, whatever we were, because sometimes we are fragmentized and we are dispersed. Just bring every part of ourselves right here in this moment. And let's start breathing through our heart, breathing in, counting to 5, and breathing out. Let's do it for 2 more times. Very slowly and slower than usual. Just relax with every exhalation, relax any tension you hold within. One more time. And just keep your eyes closed if you like. Just have a gentle smile in your face. And from this space within your heart, we are going to open kind of different spheres around you. And I call this the different technologies that we access within ourselves. And we are going kind of to open around ourselves one sphere that is going to be the mind, one is going to be the emotions, the sexuality, the body, the spirit, and the divinity. And right here, we are at the center in our hearts. And from this space, I want to invite you to think on something that you are looking for an answer. To think about what is it that is there rambling, that is creating noise within yourself. Maybe you are looking for clarity. Just bring that as an intention to bring clarity. And from this space, once you have that within yourself, we are going to start checking what every part of ourselves wants to say. So I'm going to ask you to just step into the sphere of the mind. And just observe. You are moving to this sphere of your mind. And just observe what your mind is telling you about this topic. No judgments. It's free of judgments. You are just observing and listening if there is something the mind is saying. We give thanks to the mind and we come back into the center of our heart. We release that information. And now we are going to move into the sphere of our emotions. So you can walk into the other sphere of your emotions. Already shake the mind off and you are into the emotions and just feel through it. What's going on? What emotions are present about this? Just observe. Observe maybe sensations. At the same time, you can release that and you can come back into your center, into your heart. Just shake, 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 shake off and let go everything about emotions. Come to your center. Now we are going to go into the body. Just move into the body. Just notice what's happening. Observe what's happening. You can do a quick scan and observe what's going on. How's the temperature? And just breathe in and breathe out. As you release the body and you come back into the center, into your heart. And we are going to move into your spirit. We are going into the sphere of the spirit and we are just going to listen what's happening there. Sometimes you receive guidance from this space. Yes, just listen. And you can release that, breathing in and breathing out. You can go into the sphere of your sexuality. And see if there is something happening there about this. Sometimes it could be nothing. Sometimes there is something. And then breathe in, breathe out, let it go back to the center. Just listen go to your divinity. This is kind of going to your inner source. And just observe what's happening there. And you can breathe in, breathe out, and release that and go to your heart. Just listen from your heart and allow all this information to integrate within yourself, within your heart. And you might notice that there are things that dissolve, that disappear. And when you feel ready, you can just breathe in, breathe out. Yes, give thanks to you and to every part of you. Yes, come back and open your eyes when you feel ready.
Beautiful. I feel so relaxed, grounded, a sense of spaciousness, a sense of openness.
Yes. Yes. And it dissolves. There is so many times, there is so many things that our mind, our body is trying to express, and it dissolves. So this is a practice we don't need to do. Like, this is a way to do like all the parts of ourselves, how I call it, like all the biotechnologies that we have access to. But we can do it only for our body if we feel to, or our minds if it is too with a lot of noise. Yes, if we create this space, like every time we transition from one thing to the other one, and just give ourselves those few minutes, it helps you to recenter, and all the energies that has been moved in our previous experience also kind of just settle down, and the ones that needs to be remain within you will remain, and the ones that doesn't need, it will just dissipate. So, and this is just I would say, Sharon, this is I call it, this is kind of an initiation of the practice, because from here you can, like, your intuition will expand, you will be more intuitive, you will be more connected to nature itself, because you are connected to your body, and your body is earth, is part of earth. We have all the elements within ourselves. So everything, all those soul gifts and all those things that we are able to access will start developing and unfolding more and more as we are able to go within. So that's why I call it, that's the magic of the inner temple. We're able to access a lot of things.
Well, Wai-Ching, Amalia Wai-Ching is joining us from Cusco.
Oh, wow. That's so beautiful. I love Cusco so much. I born in Lima, in Peru.
You're Peruvian.
Yes, I've been living in Costa Rica for 18 years, Wai-Ching. So nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, my dear sister. Amalia, Amalai. Is that a channel name? Because Amalia is a channel name.
Yes.
In 1990.
Oh, yes, I was, it was a couple of weeks. For 2 weeks, I was waking up with that name. I was like, they were calling me kind of Casa Amalai, which name is House of Amalai, or Amalai House. So then I understood that Amalai means I am alive, like I am alive. So that was a good reminder, and it was a reminder for me that I am alive, that we are all alive, and there is a vibration of life or orgasmic life within each of us.
Fantastic.
So I decided to take that vibration and just keep it.
Yes, we have to talk more, because it was channeled through, and I heard the person ask me, what is your name? And I heard Ama.
Ama.
Right, Ama. And then Leah, which is light, the mother of light. So that's what I'm carrying, and that vibration. And I left it alone for a while, and then the numerologist friend calculated it and said you must include it, and that creates that whole. My brother was asking who's Amalia.
Yes, that's why I'm using
I really feel, yes, the inner temple and the meditation is key to knowing ourselves and knowing the divine within, and a magical, I call it the mystery and magic of meditation. So that's key, and it takes us back to all the different time frames and where we want to travel. I mean, here, by the way, in Peru, I've been dreaming like at least six simultaneous dreams at one time during the nighttime. So I'm working very interdimensionally here. It's activating a lot in me with the ley lines and the vortices and the memories of being here. So let's talk. I mean, I love Cusco. I love Cusco. I'm here we are. Oh, I can't turn around. The mountains of Cusco.
Wow.
I'm right
surrounded.
I'm in San Blas in a lovely home. Yes. So we have to talk more. I believe we're on to the next one, and stay on for the conversation with Sharon and I.
Oh, yes, we'd love to have you on. We have,
yes, please.
Shanti's coming on from Crestone. I know that both of you have been here.
Another ley lines link with Crestone.
That's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. Thank you so much for this space. Thank you so much, Sharon, for the invitation and to Healing Our Earth also. It's a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure to have you. And please give our love to our dear friend, Matthew Bailey, who is there with you right now visiting.
Yes.
Matthew.
Yes.
I'll be staying with Matthew in the household when I go to Crestone in August, September.
You may even see Amalie too.
Yes.
They come visit. She comes to visit, and then she goes, and she comes, and we're always just so happy to have her light and love, expression of love and joy that she brings to everyone she meets.
Oh, yes.
So we might be able to meet in person.
Can you imagine our convergence in meditation? Yes.
That would be beautiful.
Amalai and Amalia.
Oh, that's beautiful. That would be beautiful. That would be beautiful.
Yeah, I feel it already. Beautiful. Thank you for the connection again.
Thank you.
Sharon.
Thank you. Shanti ji, namaste to you.
Namaste.
There you are.
Greetings to everyone. It's really wonderful to be part of this. And thank you, Amalie. Is that right, Amalie?
For me, Amalia. She's Amalai.
Thank you for a beautiful presentation. And I'm going to kind of unwind from those places that you spoke about. And it's interesting because we didn't speak before. And hopefully I get to meet you in Crestone sometime.
Yes,
but
we will.
And kind of on the same path, which is beautiful. So
let me introduce you, Shanti. Let me introduce you.
Okay.
Neil Kumar. Are you here? Shanti Dechin. Yes, am I pronouncing your last name right?
Yes.
Body, mind, harmony. Here we go. Shanti Dechin is the founder and director of Aroma Apothecary Healing Arts Academy, a clinical aromatherapist, professional and instructor, holistic health practitioner, board certified massage therapist, certified senior Qi Natsang practitioner and instructor, certified yoga instructor, and the author of Harmonized Aromatherapy for Seasonal Wellness. She has a university background in the sciences and over 15,000 hours of extensive training and certification in body-mind therapies that include many modalities of holistic healing, including herbology, plant medicine, body-mind clearing, lymphatic drainage, 5-element healing, acupressure, craniosacral therapy, Asian healing arts, applied kinesiology, polarity, medical Qi Gong, nutrition, reflexology, energy medicine, stress management, and meditation. Wow. Wow. Shanti is a professional member with the National Certification for Therapeutic Massage and Bodywork, National Association of Holistic Aromatherapy, Alliance of International Aromatherapists, NAHA Regional Director of Colorado, National Certification for Therapeutic Massage and Bodywork, and on and on. Wow. So Universal Healing Tao, also a senior instructor of Qi Song through the Universal Healing Tao. So Mantak Chia.
That's right.
Yeah, Grandmaster Mantak Chia, who really was his work and the luminous energy field was the kind of impetus for the whole Quantum Qi series.
Oh,
so,
wonderful, wonderful.
Well, out of this just plethora of blessings and experience you've had in this life, what do you have to share with us today?
Well, I would love to share a PowerPoint because I'm a really visual kinesthetic person. So if that's okay, I would like to pull this up here. And can everybody see this okay? Yes?
Yes. Yes.
Wanted to get it a little bigger here. So I love colors. I love the essence because it always reminds me of the energy moving. And there's never a stagnation in that. And one of my biggest teachers, I was introduced to nature when I was born, basically. And I've observed that through many ancient civilizations. I spent 7 years traveling with Native American medicine men doing ceremonies. And then I also went to Asia for studies. I've been a lot of different places. To be able to, what you were talking about, that mirroring aspect of really knowing me and recognizing what an incredible universe we have, each one of us, right here. And to me, that really struck me connecting with plant medicine. That was a beginning. I studied lots of different things in college, but one of them was plant botany. And I love the aspect how you can put a plant in water, one little stem, and how it will grow into this magnificent plant. It also taught me how to take care of myself. Because if I observed that, it was like, oh, you need to drink more water. Oh, you need a little trim now. You got too much going on with you. So it's really helped me to be rooted in my existence on Earth. So there's many effective ways to connect with nature. And it truly starts with deepening a connection with ourselves. And I think that the internet is so incredible, but a lot of people have lost that now because they always want the information on the screen rather than getting it here. And that's an important piece that I learned for many years. So if you can see this picture of this beautiful mountain, this is Grand Lake, Colorado. My family built a cabin at the edge of that lake when I was born. I spent every summer here wandering through the mountains. You know, it was that time that parents didn't have as close an eye maybe on their children. You could wander, and I played in the mountains all day long. So it's no wonder to me that conifer trees, which are all over that area, is what I call a plant ally. And I'll talk more about those. But just the fact, now if you look at it, some Native American tribes thinks that is the place that we were born from. because if you look at it, it looks like a pregnant woman there. Anyway, that might be too many details, but I think it's amazing. And my brother pointed this out to me just a few years ago, how incredible that was. And it starstruck me because what happened when I was 14, as my mother died, she was getting a gallbladder operation and she was dead the next day. She was supposed to be released from the hospital. And at that moment, the earth became my mother. And it was only a few years ago that I truly understood how embraced and well taken care of I was. It took a deep trust because I traveled all over the world and I never had a doubt that I wouldn't be safe, that I wouldn't be comforted, that I couldn't ask for what I needed at the time. And I guess I've just carried that. And I've had other challenges in my life, like, you know, everyone. We could count them, each one of us. But these basic factors may include that you have health issues. And I understand that on a genetic level, you know, or birth defects. But when they come later in life, we're going to take a closer look at this. Because these are really the basic things of looking at nutritional habits. Yes, if you're addicted to sugar all the time, things are going to happen. If you don't sleep well at night, things are going to happen. And your stress levels. We just went through a beautiful meditation, and that is an incredibly effective way. And I'm going to share some more other ways, because I think with also these personal issues, how long do you drag it out? When are you willing to address it? Because what I know for myself, if I don't start addressing things, then maybe I feel an ache here, I'd feel this, and then I kind of try to avoid it rather than addressing it. But I always like to just take time internally, calm down before you respond. So it's in a more elated way of experience. So I've always been in that balance of body, mind, soul. If I was going to put another rock in this illustration, I would put emotions. Because what I recognize with emotions, if you can get through the turbulence of the emotion, it's the intuition. And it took me a very long time to learn this because I'm extremely empathic. I could talk to someone on the phone and I'd feel the pain in their body. I can answer an email even now. It surprises me. And I can know what's happening with them. And part of that is that I've been a bodywork practitioner for over 40 years. So when I go in there, I try to be as empty space as possible, working on people and just being a channel for their healing. That is my commitment. When I started my practice 40 years ago, the daily, I really wanted to open it up daily for them, that they would come to daily peace. And that takes an extreme amount of internal awareness, looking inside, feeling inside, being there. The older I get, the more I love my body. Yes, it doesn't look like when I was 20, but it just works so well for me, And I realized that living at 8,300 feet in the mountains, that my body is almost like a little bear because I can go out and grab firewood and shovel in the garden and all this stuff, and it still works well. So I needed the extra muscle power, evidently. The other place that I go to in my inner being every single day is gratitude. So I have this favorite place that are steps to my garden that I sit at. And that's where I do my gratitude prayers every single morning. and I hear the hummingbirds and I see the bees and all of that, because that's a template for me. Thank you. Thank you for the days arising. Watch over me, bless me, guide me. But when you ask for that, you have to trust at an extremely deep level. So I'm basically a child of life. And the older I get, the more I am that. There was a nickname. Now, this is kind of personal. I haven't mentioned this before online, but I think it will at least make you laugh, because when I was a child, my name was Gigglebox, because I would just laugh all the time. And there is that saying also in the Buddhist, you know, if you, I don't remember the whole saying, I'm sorry, but it's a Longchenpa saying. And he said, you know, if you really could see this, you would just break out in laughter. And that, to me, is the true divine heart essence. And yes, we can go into, if we look at the news, you know, tears, you know, but they're authentic. And when I say those prayers of gratitude, I offer them up. And ultimately, I feel like that's the best, honestly, I can do. I can do that. And I know it's making a difference, because it's making a difference to each person that I come in contact, each animal that I might come in contact with that day, everybody. Because when you are that sense of pure essence, there's not all that thorns, you know, like if you looked at a rose, it has that beautiful blossom, but then it has the thorns. I'm kind of one of those. I think it's a hybrid. I don't have as many thorns anymore. It's not worth my energy at this point. And then also creating connection, as I've mentioned, is each individual experience. We learn from each other, but we could be in the same room at the same event and have a totally different experience. And to really be able to honor what your experience is, you know, you don't always have to change it unless it's uncomfortable. And then you change it for yourself. And really what that comes from is that sense of empowered self-care. Now, I want to just preface this because I was looking back through the generations of women in my lineage, you know, my family, and recognizing, and I think this is the case of a lot of women on this planet, they take care of everybody else first. And then if there's anything left, then themselves. Turn it around a little bit. Because I recognize, yes, I do have a daughter who's fabulous, and I taught her really how to take care of herself. I didn't recognize that, you know, but she did. And the biggest piece that I could offer her is to do that. And partly when I look at that in nature, like when you look at deer, like the does, they'll have the little babies right next to them for a year or two, and then they go their separate ways. It takes a lot longer, obviously, for humans, but what can we do? And that helped me to recognize I needed to be my own best friend. I needed to be my own best cheerleader. If I need a nap, I'll go take a nap. I've actually learned how to take a 10-minute nap and be completely revived. So it's the little things, the little things. Self-care is not selfish. It is an act of self-love. Until you can love yourself, you cannot love others fully, and you cannot receive love fully. And that was a big aha for me, because a lot of people want it out there. They're always looking for something to complete themselves out there. Knowing yourself is not a destination, but a path to self-discovery and awareness. So I ultimately believe that everyone has the innate power to heal. We're humans with a body. not the disease. And for those people who have diseases, you have to separate your consciousness from that. So there's that unconscious part that will just drag you along in the disease. And where can you put your focus but the healthy ease? Ease and grace was actually one of my intentions for this year. So when I do a New Year's resolution, I always just put the intention out. Oh, I want this. I don't make myself, okay, I got to lose 5 pounds. I want to exercise 4 times a week. I already do that kind of stuff. So it was, what is it? And it was grace and ease. And I'm telling you, there was times that I was not graceful and it was not easy, but I just kept working with it. And part of it is healing with team support. Those could be your friends, your family, other health practitioners. Ask for what you need. Okay, I'm going to say that one more time. Ask for what you need. Because a lot of us think, oh, I'm an adult now, I should be able to take care of this all by myself. And it just separates us from that beautiful mandala of life and what we can really offer. So anytime that I was struggling and I didn't have that sense of peace and ease, help me, help me. What do I need to do? And I quieted myself and deepened that inner conversation. Sometimes I feel like, though, meditation is fabulous. Other times I'm kind of like Sharon, I got to get up and dance. I got to move the body, because sometimes it's the body that's just contracting and it won't allow that full essence of the message to be there for you. Another one is music. I use that a lot. It's like, okay, I am going to change my mind. Let's hear some music. And sometimes if I get a song, I'll just keep replaying it until I really feel the essence of it. So deepening the inner conversation. How do you start that? Asking. Ask. You rebalance the true cause of what that condition is. Let's say inflammation, right? It could be anywhere, and then it could move around. It's not just alleviating the symptoms. It's connecting deeper, because as you might go, oh, it's just in my shoulder. And I'll talk about these body-mind connections that help me to be able to understand the more of the body languaging. So the synergy of the body-mind connection. If you can see this illustration, I am a big one, obviously, on mandalas. You can see one behind me as well, because I just feel like this little drop in the middle. And then what grows out of it is fabulous. To me, if I follow these little steps, healthy organic nutrition, plant medicine allies. Now, I talked about the allies a bit with the trees in Colorado, how those conifer trees are so grounding to me. And I will speak further on that as well. But there's also exercise and movement. My favorites to bring that awareness is yoga, Tai Chi, and Qi Gong. And the reason why, because they're very different than getting on a running wheel and doing bicycling, because they all bring the energy, further. Because if you could really, I'm sure that you've all seen different pictures of auras. We are way bigger than just this physical aspect of our beings. And that, to me, when I can hook into that, even just clearing something on an energy level clears what's happening physically over and over and over again. That has happened to me. And I also mentioned previously about being empathic. Well, I can walk into somebody's field, and if I don't have a good enough boundary for myself that day, I can feel what's happening to them. And sometimes I have to ask, is this me? Or is it just this energy cord or something else happening? And I would say 50-50. A lot of times it's something that's happening with them. And the truth is that I don't work on people unless they ask me to. If it's a very clear, yes, I want to be your client, I'm there with them. But otherwise, I'll just kind of clear it out and keep going. Then there's time for self-care. I'm going to say it again. Self-care. What does it mean? Make time every day. Yes, I understand if you're a parent, how challenging that is. That is the #1 hardest job on the planet. Honestly, it's very rewarding, but it's very difficult. But you still need that time for self-care and time in nature. I'm 50-50. I spend half my day in nature and half my day in the office. I've got to have that balance. If I get really frustrated with something, I'll just walk outside and be in nature for a while. But I'm very fortunate. The place I live, I rarely hear human noise. I might hear a jet once in a while, but mostly it's like the birds, the bees, all the things of nature. One of my favorite aspects is sitting there listening to the breeze through the trees. It's magical. And then again, the perspective of gratitude, right livelihood and enjoyment of work. I have worked for myself my whole life for 40 years now. And I did something just because I wanted to, not because, oh, it's going to make me a lot of money. I have never done that, but I've always been taken care of. So I know that's a possibility, and I love my work. And if I don't, I step out of the office and be with nature for a few minutes, because it is amazing how fast, when you train your mind, that you can change your perspective. It is easier than you think. Okay, and then clear communication and harmonious relationships. I've worked on that a long time, but the most harmonious relationship you need is with yourself. Again, if you're expecting it to be out there all the time, it's a losing battle, because if you truly love yourself, then you're going to attract that as well. And then having a team of support. I call for help a lot. Hey, can you work on me? I need this. Because once you understand what that feels like, that place of ease and grace, relaxation, it is so much different. Creating balance. Now, if you could see this photo, the top rocks that are balancing there's this huge rock here, and then this little tiny one, and they're still balanced. It kind of amazes me, what we do to balance our lives. It's an exploration. Nothing's going to be the same moment to moment. And the easier that we realize that, the easier it's going to be on us. If we expect, oh, once I have a house and a car and husband or a partner, all of this is going to be great. And, it's constantly changing. So that's the moment. The natural state of being is joy-filled, relaxed, and present. So as I'm saying that, let's all just take a deep breath and imagine that state of being joy-filled, relaxed, and present in this moment. Some of these nourishing steps, knowing your self-worth. It's not ego. It's, again, being your own best friend. You're going to be there for yourself no matter what. I have navigated so many different things in my life, and I know myself, but the more that I am able to express myself easier in my life, the selfness seems to just be like water, that I don't have to cling on to it anymore. But I still take care of this being right here. She's bigger than I expected. Like, that's what Sharon was saying. It's amazing how big of a presence each one of us is. But it's cultivating that. So it's kind of like teaching, being your own best friend and raising yourself as a child. So many times, if I was having an issue with something, I would see this little me right there and I'd talk to her. It seemed like it worked out really a lot easier. Part of my training was counseling, and this body-mind clearing that I did in college was all the ologies: anatomy, physiology, neurology, embryology, psychology, sociology, counseling internship, and massage internship. And I was like, this is so fascinating. So I realized that being able to study the internal body was like the universe to me. And so knowing my self-worth, but it was knowing myself was like turning myself inside out. Do you understand that? This is my universe, and then I can turn it out and join the marvelous, universe that's happening outside. So letting go of overworking. It took me a little bit of adrenal strain in my 40s to recognize I was a driven girl and how to calm down and then set the basis of healthy self-care habits. We're going to talk more about anchoring because it can just be one aspect at a time. So our bodies are gardens to which the wills are the gardeners. And I do have a few more slides here, Sharon. Is it okay? I think I'm past my time. Okay. So the body, thank you, and emotions. We all have times of emotional pain. Like I mentioned, that the natural state of our body is relaxed and free of pain. If not, I question it. I question it at that moment. What's going on? And just stop everything and be with yourself. It's so much easier because otherwise it like everything starts to knot up and it's a lot more challenging to unknot. Creating intention. I've talked a little bit about this. For years, I've cultivated this. So this process has assisted me to make clearer choices and to attract more goodness. So let's take a look at a few of these. So this is some that I do sitting on my favorite place on the steps of the garden. And for me, it was this picture of a sprout growing, because each time that we support ourselves, we start blooming, we start growing. We are more confident in that whole evolution. So some of these intentions: thank you for the guidance to be present and loving in this day. I mean, that's sutsy of being present right there. Thank you for the confidence to be me. Once you recognize you can't be anybody else anyway, you might as well celebrate that. Surround me with caring and compassionate people. May all my connections be meaningful. Open my heart and mind to give and receive love freely. These can be really helpful. I have a bunch of affirmations on my refrigerator, so every time I go in there, I read some to myself. They're great little sticky notes. One of the places that I started with these affirmations was this book from Louise Hay. She was an amazing leader in being able to connect the body-mind. So I want to give you 3 examples for this. So if you, for instance, had issues in your throat, it was about the inability to speak for oneself. And you might have swallowed anger and blocked your creativity. So a great affirmation for that is, I express myself freely and joyously. I speak up for myself with ease. And sometimes when I have that, the Qi Gong can help to be able to clear that out, and then saying this out loud a few times to yourself, whatever the intention is, and then just continue to say it internally. So for the arms, it's about embracing life. So when people have issues that come and see me with their arms, it's like, okay, this is about the capacity and the ability to embrace life and experiences. Because the other part is that, pushing things away. So a great affirmation, I lovingly hold and embrace my experiences with ease and joy. So that's like a cuddle, right? It's like cuddling. And then leg problems, the fear of the future, not wanting to move forward, difficulty moving forward. So this year I was on a walk with a friend in January. We're talking about things, and it was a path I'd been on a lot, and I sprained my ankle. And I'm thinking, yeah, what about this? And I just couldn't get a clear direction this year. So I had to sit with my leg for a couple months, and then it cleared up and I was ready to roll. And it was so interesting because I was like, oh yeah, fear of moving forward. Okay, what do I do now? You know? So now I'm moving forward with confidence and joy, knowing all is well in my future. And these seem pretty simple, but they are so right on. So I recommend this book. It's really quite beautiful to have on your shelf. Now I have a couple more things to talk about anchoring wellness. So if you need a template, training or anchoring your body-mind awareness on a daily basis will assist. It's easier to start the process when you're feeling good, to strengthen your immune system and overall radiance. So the breath. And I'm going to talk later about aromatherapy, how powerful that has been and what it does to deepen my breath. It always excites me. One little drop of goodness in these bottles. So the aromas, but they could be like, for myself, my mother used to be an amazing rose gardener. And so I would play in the backyard and all these roses. And that is one that just touches my heart, is the rose and having that connection. So it could be oranges, you know, that you really like, or the trees. But if you can remember at least one aroma that really brings joy to you, that's an anchor. Could be lasagna. I mean, it doesn't matter. And then your body focus, okay? You can bring your attention into your hands, whether you want to put them on top of each other or resting over your navel. Now there are parts, what's called the dantian, and it is 2 fingers below your navel. So for women, if you went through that point, it would be on the top of the uterus. That is a really powerful grounding area. Bring it down. Because if we have too much chatter going on here, it's really hard to get that awareness of what's happening in the body to make that body-mind connection. So then there is the sight. So you can focus on an object in your field of vision. It could be the mountains, it could be the ocean, it could be a flower. You could look at a beautiful picture, but look at the colors, the texture, the shape, because that's going to take you into it deeper And so part of it is even like looking outside at the clouds, taking it in. Then there's sound. So it's music, or also outdoors is this especially helpful anchor. Talked about the breeze coming through the trees. That's also with the feeling. So that is a good place to start. How do I feel? Ask yourself how you feel. Be honest with yourself. Now, one of the best, fastest anchors I know is aromatherapy inhalation. That was one of the reasons that got me back into it over 25 years ago. It was such an aha. And now they found through research how just upon inhalation of an essential oil, it goes up into what's called the limbic brain. And that is amazing because then it talks to what's called the neurotransmitters and talks to the nervous system in 20 seconds. That is the best drug I've ever seen, that's natural. And the sense of smell acts mostly on the subconscious level of the brain, because when we're hurting, when we're out of balance, a lot of it's unconscious. So if we can bring it to that conscious level, it's a lot easier to clear and balance it. So the sense of smell is 10,000 times more information than the senses of sight, taste, and touch combined. So you can see the illustration, how quickly that is. So I just want to give you a brief overview. So for the essential oils, there's flowers, there's fruits, there's trees, there's spices, many different aspects. But for the flowers, again, it was the lavender. One of the affirmations is nourished reassurance. So it's a beautiful calming hug. It calms the nerves. And Rosa Damascena, clears the heart, inflammation, restores, and calms the heart as well. Loving and radiant embrace. I mean, that is so beautiful. So if I think back to my mother as representative of a rose, she's always giving me this beautiful, radiant embrace. And then Ylang-Ylang, Chananga Odorata, it clears the heat, relaxes the mind, calms the nerves, and the emotional affirmation is euphoric and mindful kindness. And then a little bit more about lots of fruit oils. We have bergamot, Citrus bergamia, bitter orange, Citrus aurantium, blood orange, Citrus sinensis. And it's different than sweet orange. To me, it's a little more grounding. Grapefruit, Citrus paradisi, lemon, Citrus limon, sweet orange, Citrus sinensis, and then mandarin, Citrus reticulata. Now, one of the things you need to know about these, if you put them externally, some of them are photosensitive. That will create issues on your skin. And then the tree oils. One of my favorites is balsam fir, Abies balsamia, black spruce, Picea mariana, cypress, Cupressus sempervirens, pinyon pine, Pinus edulis, Scotch pine, Pinus sylvestris, silver fir, Abies alba, and Virginia cedarwood, Juniperus virginiana. Now, I just want to mention one thing about these branches, why they're so powerful to me, because they remind me of the respiratory system, the bronchial tubes. They are like a scrub brush, so they can clear emotions as well as congestion in the respiratory, circulatory, and lymphatic systems, and really grounding. Because trees, as tall as they are, is how deep those roots are. They're very unique in nature that way. One of the ways I use it is this nasal inhaler. Okay, so you can see this. and it has another part. So here's the felt wick. So you're going to put it in a glass bowl, and then they're really easy, very effective. These are a personal inhaler. So once you make it, it's basically for yourself. And here's a blend I want to share with you. So it's blood orange, fir balsam absolute, and rose. So it's a fruit, a tree, and a flower. So it creates that sense of balance. It will help to calm your emotions and be balancing and centered. Okay. So another aspect is that you can look at this later, but it's a whole set of how you anchor with that. So you're going to bring up the nasal inhaler to the nostril, and then you close off the other nostril. You want to breathe in 3 to 5 seconds and then change sides. And you want to breathe deeply because you want to allow that essence to penetrate. And when you inhale, breathe in through your lungs, span your abdomen all the way to your back ribs. Closing your eyes, bring your gaze to focus on your navel and feel the centering power of this gesture. Bring your attention to the bottoms of your feet and feel the connection to the earth. Continue your awareness on your breath into the upper chest, abdomen, and back, relaxing, letting go of any tension. You can continue that as long as you like, but then when you feel that sense of grounding and are more relaxed, then you can slowly open your eyes and move forward in a relaxed manner. Now, once you do that enough times in a good place with this nasal inhaler, then when you're having difficulties, reach for it, inhale it, remember that moment. It's such a powerful anchor that I've really appreciated to be able to have that. And I appreciate all of you for listening to this presentation. I appreciate that it was a little bit longer. I guess once I get started talking, I have a lot to say or share with you. It was fun. So may you experience radiant health, happiness, and vitality. Thank you so much.
Shanti, what a beautiful, deep presentation.
Thank you very much.
We thank you so much. I know that Amalia Wai-Ching is like just waiting to talk to you.
Now that I found my voice, I actually had a cough, Shanti, and it was a deep dive into the consciousness of the cough, just like your sprained ankle. It was such a beautiful lesson. And Sharon knew my process. And it's about my own journey plus the collective, not being able to speak of the suffering that is happening now, and the fears and the limitations and uncertainty of the future. So it gave me an opportunity to go in. And like I said earlier, I had at least six simultaneous dreams per night while I was going through this. And yeah, I was going into dimensional healing, and of course using the oils. I have my rose oil in there, but this is a Japanese spearmint I found luckily here. And I tried several oils like munya, which is Peruvian mint, and it's so helpful. And of course, drinking my water, my structured water, very important because they're smaller dynes and more bioavailable. And emotionally, how deep did I go with especially speaking my truth now, because we're all called to step up and be spiritual warriors and speak our truths, whatever it is. And I have been on panels with many doctors and speaking their truth. And I have also been wanting to balance, discretion, right? Right, discretion of speaking, and you can't just blare up everything out to different people. We're not ready to receive the information, and also to tell the truth from the heart. So it was just a beautiful opportunity. And what you just said was so reassuring. I was just here bathing in your wisdom and your experience. I can feel your experience, and this is what's important: is experience, experiential healing, and embodiment. You hear that, Lata? For your emotional issues. I mean, we have lots of tips, right? Shanti, to share. And we're always here for everybody. Having said that, wait a minute. Shanti, I think that was one of my issues. I was there for everybody all the time. So I have to take my own advice of self-care and self-love as well. So this deep, and we know an illness, an imbalance is always an opportunity to
Absolutely.
go deeper. Just like my potential cancer in 1990, I say mine because I want to own it.
Mhm.
And it was ovarian, and it had a lot of to do with male-female relationships and feminine oppression through time, through the timelines, our ancestral history in ourselves.
Yes.
So it was really a very timely, a deep healing for me, catalyzed by 40 hours of traveling, hot, cold, temperatures. Yeah, it's scorching hot. I'm sure Amala know it's scorching hot here during the day, and it's freezing cold during the night. And from 5 o'clock, it's cold. So my body was adapting as well to everything besides the greater metaphysical as realities. So Shanti, thank you so very much for bringing that encapsulation of healing.
Yes, I've been thinking lately, Shanti, about how blessed we are to live where we live, in nature, away from the hustle and bustle. I mean, it's a pretty powerful place that brings up, Crestone is known for bringing up all your shadows to be released and healed. And we're so fortunate. I go in the garden. Lately, I've been really, the smell, you were talking about the smell. I'm growing some tulsi. And every time I water that tulsi, I just like drink in that smell.
Nice, nice. Well, it's interesting that you talk about that because this is my 12th year in Crestone, and there was a lot of changes in the last 11 years. And this year seems more that I have more embodiment than I've ever experienced in my life. So you know how that year 11 and then you get to go on. It's quite amazing. Quite amazing.
Shanti, I've been going to rose farms here in Ecuador. I thought you might like to hear that. Yes, and everywhere there are roses in honor of Mother Mary, and all the energy of Mother Mary. And of course, this is Catholic overlay, the Pachamama aspect, the feminine of the earth practice. And of course, I've been wearing this, if I may be a little religious oriented. I've been guided by her to be here to do the healing work. Yes, so the roses, and roses capture my attention all the time. And then I tune into the rose, right? The energy of the Rosa Mystica, which is about transformation and about healing with our heart, with love.
Yes. It's pretty simple. We've tried to make it very complicated, I think.
Yes, that's part of the problem.
I'd like to say something. When you said we're very privileged to be where we are, but I think also, don't you think we're a very privileged generation to be born at this time of history?
Yes.
In the journey of the earth, because the features and the facilities and everything that it's offering to us right now, because of human developments and mind and all the technology and all the electricity, industrialization and electricity. We are at a very, very privileged time for the women to discover ourselves, because we can actually now give ourselves a bit more education and self-care and self-love, which we weren't mentored about before. We were just told, keep working, you know, you're just a machine to keep working. But right now, what a transformation, don't you think?
Absolutely.
When you absorb.
Yes, Tata, especially with those of us involved in integrated health. This is a time to rebuild a new healthcare system, much better healthcare system.
Yeah, we could
and
have
that's
built.
why the corruption and collusion is showing up in the old healthcare system. That's why it's happening. So we have to give blessings for that.
Yeah.
There's a positive aspect. So we are here and we are so blessed to be rebuilding it and integrating. So yes.
From so many cultures, the wisdom,
Exactly.
you know, gleaned from thousands of years of research. Thousands.
Now we can drive cars and buses and planes going up to the moon. All these features, designing, you know, automobiles and steamer ships and ships, submarines. You know, it's just fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah. So we have to balance the technology with good technology and for the benefit of humanity.
That's right.
And also the number of women who've been involved in computer development and codes, and that has all been suppressed. All that information about women being the leaders and in technology. That would be a good one to explore.
Devika.
Very thankful.
Namaste.
Hi, namaste. It was such a beautiful to listen to you all. And yeah, namaste. So I was just, when she was talking, I feel like, oh, let me do some gestures and dance and connect to the breath and, you know, do some movement. So anyway, thank you so much. Such a lovely people. And it was a great pleasure to listen to you all. I love listening things to, especially, you know, your own experience, lifetime experience. Thank you so much for that.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. Yes, it was dance. Dance is where I started. It was my mother who went to college at 15 in chemistry and bacteriology, but she was also a tap dancer. So she said at 9 months when I began to walk, she taught me a little tap dance. At 3, I was in ballet. At 5, I was in singing lessons. By 7, I was in acting lessons. But it was a dance that was a through line. And the dance gave me this kinesthetic awareness that is rare. So when I went to study craniosacral therapy, even though I was not a massage therapist licensed in anything, they said to me, the teacher said that I had much more of a gift for it all because of this highly developed kinesthetic awareness that came from the movement and the rhythm. And also by then I'd already been doing yoga for years. So that's really what kind of led me into the whole experience as a filmmaker of looking at alternative, it's called that, integrative methods of healing in cultures around the world. And when we began our whole company with a instructional video I created, which maybe I'll show you some next week, called Yoga of Light for Women. And it was how to really anchor, as you say, Shanti, and just ground and feel that Shakti from the center of the earth rising like the roots of the tree into your body and through your body, without creating this great toroidal donut-like shape around you, and feeling, and from that, as a woman, opening yourself to the energy coming from the sky and becoming harmonized and balanced with the energy coming up, and then the energy coming down. And we know this from Qi Gong, which I have now been, I don't know, about 6 years now absorbed in it. So I'd like to show you, because one of the people that impacted me the most when we started our films, and actually this brings in a little of two people. One is the great visionary artist, Alex Gray, who I met at a retreat many years in '85 of our teacher, Namkhai Norbu Rinpoche, the great Tibetan Tantra and Dzogchen teacher. And then also Alberto Viodo. And Amalia is down in some of his area. Dr. Alberto Viodo, which I hope to bring him on sometime, he was a medical anthropologist who went to the Andes and lived with the Quero shamans of Peru and trained in this ancient technique of what's called healing the luminous body. So I'm going to, because I want to offer you all a gift to see the whole film for free. And I will put, it will be, you have to go to Gaia, Gaia, .com. And then it says portal/sacred mysteries, which is the company I've had with my husband since 2000. So if I could share the screen here. Let's see. So we made this film a long time ago, about 2003 or 4. And still it's one of the favorite ones on Gaia. And so this is a little trailer. You'll hear my husband, Jay Widener's voice.
Healing the Luminous Body, The Way of the Shaman, with Dr. Alberto Viodo. In this fascinating and informative DVD, Dr. Alberto Viodo introduces viewers to the luminous energy field that surrounds and informs our physical body like a blueprint of life.
This luminous energy field is what contains the imprints of our early life experiences, of genetically inherited illnesses, even of memories before we were born, when we were still in the uterus and before. When we learn to perceive the luminous energy field, we learn to perceive the luminous nature of life. The visual spectrum, what the eye can see, is a very narrow band of the electromagnetic spectrum. Very, very small. Most of what's happening in the universe is happening outside of the visual spectrum. When we learn to perceive with our inner eyes, with the eyes that can perceive the luminous nature of life, we recognize our interconnectedness with all things, with the stars, with the rivers, with the mountains, with the valleys, with each other.
Unveiling the secret of ancient shaman healers, he teaches us that many of our physical and psychological problems stem from imprints within our luminous body. Dr. Viodo reveals the nature of this luminous field, how it acts as a blueprint for our physical body, and how by understanding its nature, we can actually heal ourselves and each other. Once the luminous body is cleared, Dr. Villotto explains, physical and emotional healing can begin. Trained as a medical anthropologist, Dr. Villotto left the academic world behind 20 years ago to study among the Incan shamans. It was in the Andes Mountains of South America that he discovered the wisdom of the luminous body from the indigenous shamans. This ancient knowledge reveals the secret of true health and happiness. To aid Dr. Villotto in explaining the luminous energy field, the paintings of visionary artist Alex Grey are presented. No other artist has depicted the luminous energy form in all of its intricacies as clearly as Alex Grey. Dr. Villotto's presentation, together with Alex Grey's images, helps all of us to understand the nature of our spiritual and physical well-being.
And today we're training people from all cuts of life to learn to heal themselves, to learn to heal each other, and to learn to heal the world. And this is who the shaman is. We are caretakers of the earth. And my mission is to train Western shamans that can dream a dream of healing and of peace.
Many of our illnesses, psychological disorders, addictions, and failed relationships can be traced to faulty imprints in our luminous body. In this DVD, Dr. Villotto unveils how to heal and recover from these destructive imprints, and how to regain our physical, mental, and spiritual well-being. Join us as we travel to the Andes Mountains of South America to learn the secrets of the ancient shamans, a secret that can lead all of us to health, happiness.
So we worked on maybe 4 different films with Alberto. And in one of them, which is now on my husband's membership site on YouTube, Reality Check, we talked about prophecy and the Kali Yuga, and from all different perspectives. So we've been looking for, ever since I met my husband and beyond that, we've been looking as filmmakers to bring this knowledge of integrative health, of all of these ancient traditions, to humanity, to our audiences. And now, in the next, hopefully before the end of the year, we'll be bringing out the first 2 episodes of Quantum Qi and talking about the luminous body. In episode 2, I always had this dream of being able to show people what that looks like. What do their emotions actually look like on an energetic level? So we have these animations that show somebody really angry, and you see this like red jagged light, all kinds of things coming out. So that to me, it was always that if we could really learn to see and feel the expressions of the emotions and how they affect not only those around us, but ourselves, because Shanti was talking about that, and how I've noticed in my own life, like if I really don't like to argue. I just don't. And when, somebody wants to get in this argument with me, it's very hard for me to boundary myself. That's what I'm learning now. And that's what we all need to learn. And that's what these films and the upcoming World Congress on Qi Gong, Tai Chi, etc., that Wai-Ching and I are putting together a 5-hour presentation to assist Dr. Effie Chow, mother of, traditional Chinese medicine in the West, a real, amazingly powerful woman, even at 89. We're working to bring this together. And Wai-Ching, are you here?
I am here. I am here. I'm just reveling in all that you're saying. And also to see Alex Gray's work again. And I'm here in Peru, and I don't know, Dr. Alberto is here. It would be such a pleasure to meet him. And I want to also thank Alex Gray. I met him in Bali, and he and his wife gave me permission to use their stills in my presentation. So maybe, in one of our integrated health forum, I could present the work on InfinityQuantumQi Gong. And since I mentioned it earlier, on how, it came to pass, right? And the story, but many people don't. And I know I'm going to be speaking about it on the 22nd Congress of Qi Gong. And so please, everybody here, please do join us and pass the word around and join us. And it would be so lovely to have your Qi body with us and your luminous body. And so just to tell a story, when Sharon and I spoke on Zoom, was it, or just WhatsApp, we spoke for 3 hours, and we shared so much about our vision, commitment, and future projects. And it was just such a natural merging, a sacred marriage, I call it, of coming together. And our baby is Quantum Qi.
Our baby is Quantum Qi. But I do want to say, you were talking about Alex Gray. We also made I call them portrait documentary with Alex Gray called Art Mind, where we see him painting in the studio, and we have a whole conversation with him about the influences in world art, not just, clearly he had influences from, the art and spiritual practices of India, of Tibet, of the West, lots of places. So it's a very beautiful film that's also on Gaia. So we have the Healing the Luminous Body is now up for free on Gaia. And if you want to watch it, then go to gaia.com/portal/sacred mysteries. And so now we're just continuing on our blessed, we could call it mission, we could call it heartfelt expression on healing our earth and in everything we do, to bring a whole new level of coming together and with dialogue. Oh, there's our Sacred Mysteries website with the number of our films. The last Avatar was about actually Kalki Avatar. And we have my book there, Path of the Priestess, and some music with some of my favorite musicians who are also involved in my current Nectar of Bliss. What does Neil said? It's like a unity of faiths, paying homage to the divine feminine cultures all over the world. I'm working on at the moment. We've talked about that. So as always, it's a real pleasure to be with you. I wanted to share a little bit about my filmmaking history so that, because we always say, oh, she's the winner of this award. But I really wanted to share a little aspect of that really came from this great desire to heal and to bring this knowledge to the world. So I'd like to also mention our upcoming shows. Next week is, here we go, Future Events, Healing Our Earth, Yoga and Meditation on the 24th. It's going to be a wonderful show, as always, to really help us continue this process of healing, this process of, really bringing the community, the world community who gets this, who understands nature, who understands that our connection with the natural world, who understands the healing power that we have, who understands all the ancient ways, and like Shanti, the aromatherapy, and the power of the trees and the power of the water and all the elements. That's what we're here for on Healing Our Earth.
Sharon, I would like to, I know that your talent of filming is so good because some of the movies you record for playing on kitchen shows and yoga shows are so beautiful. You've been going for a number of years. Coming back to the Congress, which will take place in September, where I'm very proud that you, the senior host and the coordinator at Healing Our Earth, and our roving ambassador who moves from different countries, Dr. Wai-Ching, both of you are now leading and helping Dr. Effie Chow, who is a very good supporter of Healing Our Earth. Tell us more about it. I think this year we are still going to go virtual online majoritarily, globally. But I feel that next year, maybe London or New York should be the place where we actually do a real Congress and convention. What you call Congress, we call difference over here. And I think we should actually do person to person. Like today at Healing Our Earth, we have announced the first retreat in Mauritius, which will start very shortly. And then we've got East Africa and plenty of other destinations. I think with the knowledge Effie Chow accumulated and the in-depth knowledge you and Dr. Wai-Ching have accumulated, wherein now you are actually leading the whole string, will help us globalize even better. But can you tell us a bit more about it from a virtual point of view? And I think at Healing Our Earth, in August, we are going to run a whole episode telling people the integration way of Tai Chi, Qi Gong, why from Yin and Yang, where you think that the yoga and Tai Chi and Qi Gong will actually integrate in future. So we'll dwell with that. But whilst I have got you and Wai-Ching over here, let's dwell for the next 5 minutes purely on the Congress in September. So the viewers, when they watch the recording tomorrow, some of the countries which are sleeping now, can get some sort of idea. Over to you.
Oh my goodness. Well, first of all, everything Dr. Effie Chow does is entertaining. It's not only informative, but entertaining. She's got some wild things that that you will love to see. So it's
you have to come on to watch.
Yes. So
we are not we're not breaking the surprise.
Yeah, wild abilities that these Qi masters have, you know, to heal, but also to, you know, to do some phenomenal things. So, but we're going to also weave it together. There's a lot of science. There's a lot of talk. We're going to be talking about what we've been through in the last, you know, few years and what we've learned through the process. And so they have, the first day is filled with all of, and also some musicians, some dancers, some martial arts, artists, etc., but woven together with deep science from, you know, doctors, Western doctors, as well as Chinese, traditional Chinese medicine doctors. And then on the second day, we open with Wai-Ching leading an InfinityQuantumQi Gong, because we have 5 hours devoted to quantum Qi and bringing the teachers, the masters, the artists who are part of the film to talk about quantum, the whole quantum aspect of healing, to talk about energetic protection on all levels, to talk about nature and the Tao, and to talk about integrative health. And with that, Wai-Ching is going to be leading that panel, so you can describe what that's going to be like.
Well, as we were online earlier, before you came on, I talked to Professor Madan and Dr. Rajiv and Keith Sharp, who's on the panel. And there's also Dr. Sandra Rose Michael, who works with NASA, who's developed amazing technologies. One of the very few known women scientists, Lata. And she's amazing. She's paved the way for this work of protection, 5G and radiation, EMF. And not only that, if you've heard of medbeds, there's some technology to accelerate the healing on a cellular level and emotional level too. And Dr. Sandra Rose Michael, she has that technology, and she will also be coming on board. And she has actually been awarded by during one of the congresses with the Scientist of the Year, and she practices Qi Gong, and she's a kahuna. That means Hawaiian shamanism. So she's an embodiment of a wonderful galactic sister, and who really is amazing. And we have a few, who else do we have?
Lonnie Jarrett.
Yes, Lonnie. Yes, Lonnie, I met in Massachusetts.
Writers,
yes,
researchers, and
this thick, and I've had
Nourishing Destiny
with them. Yes,
Dr.
and
Engard, who's a naturopath, Qi Gong practitioner,
that's right.
Acupuncturist, herbalist. She's been on Healing Our Earth. So
who lives in Crestone.
Yes, and then amazing, just in general, some of the top Qigong teachers and healers in the West. And then we're going, and that'll be interwoven, of course, with music and trailers and dance. Lai Chang, who's just an extraordinary dancer, who's like danced with her twin sister at the Olympics. She'll be offering a Qi dance, and it's going to be a really fun-filled and informative event.
Sharon, I was just thinking, let us show people, which may not be directly connected to the Congress, but let us show the production capability of Quantum QI and the kind of global people they have got, together with what you mean by dance and music, which is not what this will be, but let's show them and give them a glimpse of something that I love. So I'm going to share my screen and show what impressed me, and we go from there. You just bear with me a moment. Can you hear the sound? It will come shortly.
No, no sound.
It needs to be.
Foundation of many traditions in China. Life is from energy. Life is from Qi.
She'll be with us, Wai-Ching. Roger Yanka, he'll be with us.
He'll be on the quantum panel.
Universe. What does Qi feel like? A buzz. Tingling. You're so excited, full of energy that you want to be playful all the time.
When it's free flowing, you can feel like warm, expansive, tingling. Without Qi, when you move, you also have a power to heal.
When you're doing Qigong, what you're doing is cultivating life force within your body. You become a conduit for information, for new information to come into the body. And you connect to the Qi of the earth and the sky. You're simply a conduit.
Taoist practice, you're harnessing this light, this energy, this Qi. And so when we cultivate that energy from within,
there's the toroidal field.
We can shift our state, shift that emotional state into something that's elevated.
Lee Holden will be with us.
Yes, Sharon, you were explaining earlier, people saw that our Dr. Reverend Wai-Ching was there in her, I think, the Inca costume or something. It looked like, seemed like Inca costume. But this was made several years back, and still they go strong and strong. So Wai-Ching, Sharon, let's move on and let's show them a bit more. And let's remind the viewers that vast majority of the performers have already been on Healing Our Earth.
Yes.
And they're not performers. We are not performers here.
The teachers, masters. Ming Tongo, extraordinary. There's John Milton. He's been from the Way of Nature. He's been on Healing Our Earth.
And what a stalwart he is for environment. Wai-Ching, you were making a comment as well?
Yes, I said that we are not performers, we are teachers. I just had to make that amendment. Sorry, Neil.
That's fine. Teachers are performers as well. In daily life, teacher perform to teach people even better than just a teacher. So when you are a performing teacher, you are actually showing people not just by vocabulary, but by action. Let's move over.
Yes, thank you.
It's a discipline, a healing art, a way of training the body and mind, a meditation in motion, a medication in motion, a way of conditioning the body for martial arts, for sports, improving strength, stamina, balance, and coordination.
That's Crestone there.
Yes, Sharon, what was that?
That was Crestone.
Yes, what a beautiful part of America it is, because you regularly show us the beautiful views of the mountains and the fields, and when you bring the garden. So Crestone would be one place where we would think we can hold a fair, you know.
It'd be amazing. We have some beautiful centers here.
Let's show them more, because this is so nice, the way it's flowing from one person to another scene to different aura and energy. So we are collecting energy and aura here as well. So let's carry on.
Practitioners and teachers love Qi Gong.
Oh, he's talking about how yoga practitioners love Qi Gong.
Much more awakened, internal sensory awareness.
Daisy Lee, she'll be with us.
What was that, Sharon?
Oh, Daisy Lee, she has Radiant Lotus. Qi Gong works with women. She's beautiful.
And earlier we saw Jai Ling, who is in Germany at the moment, and how wonderful.
She'll be with us. And her father, Master Li Junfeng, who was a martial arts film star and then trained Jet Li, was the head
of Donnie Yen. And Donnie Yen.
And was
Donnie Yen as well.
Team, Master Li, my guru.
Simply amazing. So we've shown nearly 66%. Let's move on. And if there's any comment, just raise your hand and we stop, and let's tell people more so they can be part of this journey. Let's carry on.
Resting in a very natural, open, spacious, clear, luminous energy, which then carries you spontaneously and creatively through.
Well, let's tell Wai-Ching, you can say this is our Sharon Rose, our own coordinator and a senior host. Wai-Ching, I want to ask you a question, because you and Sharon have been friends for a long time. We know how we met. It was you who approached me first and then introduced me to Sharon, who came in with lips and bound and said, hey, Neil, I can do blah, blah, blah. And look, we are one big family now. When you were recording this, and you obviously knew Sharon, did you know that years to come later, people will be seeing this?
Yes, that was my intention. That was our intention too. I was actually meditating and calling in a filmmaker to make a documentary of Qi Gong.
And then this was being shot, were you there when Sharon was being shot on this scene?
Not all the time, but Sharon invited me to Eastover to come over to the US to shoot me, because she saw my past videos, which I did, which I was going to do a video series. And she saw that and she says like, oh, this takes it to another level. And so it was very beautiful. It was shot by a videographer who was with National Geographic for 25 years. And that's Finn, to give a homage to him. And they're beautiful, but I never really put them together. And this summer we are going to do that. And Sharon is going to produce my video series.
Wow.
So that's good to announce on Healing Our Earth. Yeah, it's going to be really beautiful. I'm really excited about it, finally. So I had all this footage and I sent to Sharon, who saw that. And the meditation, I said, you know, it's time to bring out, because there's so much information about yoga and beautiful films, but more information about Qigong. And then Sharon called me to interview me, saying that she's not found anybody with quantum on the web, on anywhere in the website, Googling, and we spoke for 3 hours. And then she said, we were just quantum sisters, right? And so and I go to the US quite often to teach with offices in Los Angeles and New York as well, besides London and Singapore. So she says, why don't you come to Eastover? She's been invited there by the owner, and Eastover is a huge 600 acres, isn't it, Sharon? Facility that she bought for
Lenox, Massachusetts.
Yeah, she bought for millions and millions, and it was beautiful. And there were going to be about 20, 30 teachers there. And why not go there and just film the teachers? So many of the teachers came from there, and this is Eastover, Massachusetts. So Sharon picked me up from the airport, and it was a great, wonderful, joyful reunion. And then we drove to Eastover, and that's where we did some of the shoots.
Wow.
And then we shot some more in Crestone, and I stayed there for 2 or 3 times already. And this time I'll stay and shoot some more, like from the mountain scenes. And I had to climb up the Crystal Mountain as well. As everything was a wonderful experience. And the collaboration is so tight and so cool and harmonious. Yeah, Sharon. And then, it's like became really good friends. And
so it's a beautiful memory, and may your friendship live ever infinitum. Sharon, I want to ask you.
Infinity, and from the past and into the future, and in present time as well. We know each other from many, many lifetimes. So.
Yes, like I said, you live ad infinitum. There is no end to it. So may you be blessed with that. Sharon, who was actually directing you? Because you are actually making moves. Did it come from the mind, and the mind was actually engrossed in what was being shot, or was there somebody directing you on the moves?
Okay, this is a very interesting thing, because we had done a bunch of interviews, but then I met Zane Isaacs, who's a drone videographer, right, who was living in Crestone. And so I said, I'm going to do an interview with Master Li Junfeng in about 4 hours away. So why don't you come with me? I thought, drone. And this was actually one of the first, so we were on the way to visit him. And so I wanted to see what he could do. So we got out of the car, and, I said, okay, do this. I'm directing, focus on this, and, get, swirl around, etc. And that was, I think, one of the first drone shot that we got. And then it was so beautiful to get, especially I wanted almost every shot in the whole film, the series, is in nature. I wanted to immerse people in nature, in the beauty and flow of the movement and the depth of the wisdom. And so, meeting a drone pilot, videographer was a big boon to the project. And I continued, and then went deep into animation.
And how wonderfully you did. I always keep on watching this, I will pull this video up because it shows the energy, the aura, the environment, the flow of each one of you friends, because most of you know each other personally.
Well, honestly, I'm the first person that brought all of these teachers together in a film.
Amazing.
Everybody has their own little thing, but their own films and their own, but this is because I really felt, coming out of many, many years of yoga and then jumping into this, I just felt that. And also because I had a yoga, Iyengar style yoga teacher in Boulder who was bringing Qi Gong into the yoga teaching too. And I saw that the blending of these two ancient, amazing traditions could really be of benefit, was to me and to everybody. So these things happened. It was a synchronicity that it all happened.
And Sharon, I will not say that it happened and things, because you are still doing it. At Healing Our Earth, you bring people from different parts of the earth as does our Wai-Ching, because she's a friend and she follows the same footstep. She brings, she is now in Peru and she's already met 6 vegetarian restaurants for the kitchen people. And every day I get to see different dishes. So both of you sisters are amazing because you've got no culture difference. There is no boundary between you two. And you keep on bringing, literally, for the earth, which is healing our earth, you keep on bringing this over and over again, and we hope that you keep on doing it forever.
Thank you. Well, I do want to say on what Shanti was talking about earlier, and I loved her presentation. I'm very grateful for her to come on, that you need to ask, I'm a creator. That's what I do. Between the films and the music and the dance, I'm a creator. And we want to do one where we've done 2 episodes for Quantum Qi. Yeah. One really about what is Qi, an overall view. Another on the relationship between Qi Gong, Tai Chi, martial arts, protection, energetic protection, emotional body. And then we want to do one more on healing, quantum healing. We need help. And so, I'm asking now, if you want to help on any level, we could use some resources, we could use some financial help, we could use some marketing help, because this funding, yes. Funding. We have a nonprofit we work with. And so, I really feel this needs to get out. We've had a dream also of having a whole, integrative health site. I have so much material. We have a membership club, Sharon. We have lots of ideas. We're about to sit down and write an executive summary about it. So
beautiful, Sharon. Sharon, do that, because we can spread the word. There is no harm in spreading the word. Those who want to support and join, they will. Those who want to just sit and watch, fine. We are happy to share our knowledge. So yes, we are going to pursue that, because till we don't pursue and ask, it doesn't happen. I'm going to stop you both just for a moment. And I'm going to continue with the Quantum QI movie that you created as a trailer of, and we see the last 30% because it's beautiful.
Many
energy which then carries you spontaneously and creatively through the movements and the flow.
Therein lies the ability of practicing Qi Gong to build up incredible force in the body for rejuvenation, longevity, self-healing, and healing others.
Qi Gong for everyone.
Qi is love.
Qi is light.
Qi is free. Qi is energy.
I do want to mention, Neil, about the soundtrack.
Yes, what a beautiful one.
That is also the same musicians that are the integral part of the Nectar of Bliss, my magnum opus for the divine feminine and cultures around the world.
And isn't it coming out beautifully? We've heard the synopsis of them. And when it comes out, I'm sure people will be marveled, because that's a fusion of a culture music. I mean, that's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we're bringing in a gospel singer now for a couple of songs too. So
Well, beautiful. You both are wonderful, and you are senior leaders at Healing Our Earth. Maybe it's time to now just wind down with a little meditation, either one of you, and we'll say it good night for once again, and good morning and good afternoon to you guys.
Wai-Ching, take it away.
That's my forte here. All right. I know, Lata, you have a question, but do we pressing?
Yeah, let's Lata.
Yes, please.
You're looking very, very beautiful today, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. So are you all. It's always a delight to be here. It sort of re-energizes us, doesn't it? Thank you, Neil. What I wanted to just mention, I don't know if this is good news or if you've heard it before, but there is a hospital here in London, UCLH, and it's got Tai Chi in it and acupuncture, and it deals with yoga and all that as therapies to heal, counseling, obviously. So it's also homeopathic. And so it's called the integrated medicine. And it's been a foundation of one of the doctors. I think he just passed away. But yeah, I don't know if you're aware of that, Wai-Ching.
He should know about.
Yeah, we have Dr. Rajiv Gupta and Professor Madan should be aware. But there are many hospitals around the world that have integration. I personally visited Beijing with TCM and medical allopathic. And there are many, many healing centers. As you know, I'm involved in that, in the co-creation in many of the centers. So it would be good if, as a resource, please do tell Dr. Rajiv Gupta and Professor Madan about that and bring it up. Yeah. And I would definitely come visit when I come back to my office in Harley Street. Definitely. I remember, send us the information.
You're most welcome with the red carpet treatment. Isn't she, Neil?
Thank you. And then now I'm going to offer you an InfinityQuantumQi Gong. And it's simple and powerful. So the breath is 8 counts in and 8 counts out. If you can remember that, otherwise just natural breath. And we're going to create an intention because we are all manifestors. We are all creators of our lives and the new matrix into this world in integrated health. And we can change the world and heal our earth, healing our earth. And we are just creating that with our intentions and connection with our souls. So with great service, I offer this meditation. So if you just gently close your eyes and take a deep breath in, a natural breath, before going into the infinity breath, breathing in 8 counts at your own time and 8 counts out. They say that when you can count to 8, your lung health is good. So you can have people with viral infections just attempt to go to 8 counts at least. And the 8 also create a symbol in the mind of infinity. And you can have the infinity symbol as a visualization on a horizontal plane so that you are centered in the point of light, in the middle. And that can create the 0 points of light in the center line, the conception vessel, central vessel, right down the center of the body. So while you're breathing in and embodying what I've just said, breathing in 8 counts, breathing out 8 counts. This is the basic. There are more advanced healing breathing techniques, but we'll do this right now. Breathing, 8 counts in, 8 counts out, tapping into the sacred geometry of infinity. Breathing in now through the nostrils And keeping your mouth closed, by breathing through the nostrils, we activate more nitric oxide for oxygenation only through nasal breathing. And when we are doing that, we can even hum or om. That would increase nitric oxide. It's been found scientifically. So breathing in and oming or humming, and taking it down into the bronchial tubes, into the alveoli in the lungs, upper, middle, and lower, filling up the lungs with light, our luminous body. Breathing in from the sun, visualizing. This is idiokinesis, idea and movement. Breathing in from the sun, sunlight into the lungs. And breathing in moonlight, merging together, yin yang, Shiva Shakti together, anima, animus. And we are breathing life force into the lungs and into the heart. The heart is pumping through the rhythm of the universe. Now breathing in stellar light, starlight, the full spectrum light of who we are. Rainbow light, diamond light. And we breathe in planetary light, any colors, into the lungs, into the heart, the blood, as the light flows into our luminous body, the meridians, the nadis, going through all the cells of the body. Breathing in, and we are activating the throat chakra, throat center, the heart center, and expanding the light in the throat, front and back and to the sides, expanding through the heart, the front and the back and to the sides, into the toroidal field as you have seen, and feeling deeply the shifts of energy in our body. And now breathing in into the stomach, spleen, pancreas, the triple warmer, improving digestion, and then into the liver and gallbladder, assimilation of nutrients and information as well. Breathing through the organ systems and releasing any stress, contraction, stagnation. This is a self-healing meditation. As we breathe in into the solar plexus, into the navel, and breathing in through the umbilical cord, the etheric umbilical cord, into the kidneys, the primordial chain. And here we build up our life force in essence, and we go down into the eliminative organs of intestinal tract and out, and into the creative centers of our sexual organs, where we recreate ourselves. And here we can connect with the different chakras, different states of consciousness. And we take the energies down our feet into the earth and ground these energies into the earth, called rooting and earthing. And we bring that into our embodiment. We take the energy from the earth through the feet and the legs and up the spine. We're embodying in the earthing, rooting energy, and up the spine throughout the vertebrae, into the spinal cord, into the cerebrospinal fluids, into the mind, into the brain, the mind, an energy level into the brain on a physical level. We're activating the pineal pituitary gland, expanding, breathing, continue to breathe, expanding the head chakra, and going to the spheres of light above the head representing the soul light. Sphere of light above the head. And another one, and another one, each one smaller, going to a point of light. And then from the point of light, the source, we bring in the guidance from Shen, the spirit, from the illimitable. And we breathe in down the center line, through the infinity. The body shaping into many infinite threads in the matrix, like a weaving. And we're going down the center. And from our center, we expand from the heart and all the chakras, if you will, to our family and friends with love, the highest frequency, and healing. And to all peoples of the planet, all people we don't know, to people who are in suffering. And to the souls who are leaving their bodies, may they be guided into the light. And we surround the planet with our love as we reweave together, all of us, in this meditation and beyond. This new matrix of healing our earth and healing humanity. Breathing in together one more time and expanding our luminous body. And receiving and knowing who we are and why we came. May we be guided by the divine presence, which is who we are.
With that sense of relaxation, of healing, of grace, of beauty, of joy, we say to you, Global Non.